Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the shuttle run. Now, shuttle run, we're going to be talking specifically about a 25 feet worth of a shuttle running segment and the implications, different styles that we have, and a few things to look out for during the shuttle runs. First thing we talk about when it comes to shuttle runs is that it's only a 25-foot section. So at no point are you ever going to reach top speed as you would expect to see in a 100-meter style sprint. So the name of the game when it comes to shuttle running is all about acceleration, trying to always accelerate out of every single turn you do. We know, generally speaking, shuttle runs get thrown at us in a big old chunk of reps. So if we take my cone, for example here, the first thing I want you to think about and prioritize is your running gait or the rhythm. What we don't want to do is have to chop and change your steps every time you get to that 25-foot line or any line that you're turning on. Trying to change your foot pattern or your running gait to try and stay closer to the line that you're touching. We actually want to think about trying to prioritize a natural running gait, and even if that leaves you a couple of inches shy of the line that you're touching, the natural running rhythm and gait should allow you to then accelerate out of that turn versus coming towards it, knowing there's a line there, changing your steps and then getting really close, but then feeling stuck in the mud and feeling heavy and then having to work hard to accelerate out of the turn again. So with that in mind, let's talk about two different types of turns that we have. The first one, which is probably more useful for lower reps, moving a bit faster or sprint style workouts, is when you come to the line, is that you're going to be a bit more side on. Touch and go from there. Again, you'll come towards your line, you'll stay side on, so you've only turned about 90 degrees, you touch the floor, and then you turn out again, you hit the next 90 degrees. So this is probably for a faster or shorter style of shuttle run. The next method would be the early rotating shuttle run or the early rotating turn. Now, you can see these squares on the floor about 1 meter by 1 meter. So as I approach my 25-foot mark or whatever the line is, as I get there, I'm going to start an early turn. And that's going to allow me to then bump out like a 3-point stance. So I basically want to come down, touch the floor. I'm already facing the way that I need to go. You'll notice how far the shoulders are forward. That allows me to then accelerate out, use gravity and momentum out of a turn. So again, as I'm coming towards the line, I just rotate a little bit earlier, touch, and then go from there. That allows me to maintain, again, the momentum and use gravity to my advantage. What we don't want to see is as you get to the turn, whether using the side on or the full 180-degree turn, what we don't want to see is that your feet get caught together. Because from this position, it's near impossible to accelerate out. You then have to work hard to get going again. Same here, if you were to come in here and you get caught in this sort of position where you're real narrow in your stance, it's hard to get back out and move again. So again, think about having a lead leg and a trailing leg, just like you expect to see someone in a 3-point stance. That gives you way more, saves way more energy, allows you to accelerate out a lot easier. Next thing to consider or think about is how you touch the floor. And I know you're probably thinking it doesn't matter, but trust me, when you've got 100 plus reps to do, if you're touching on the same side every single time, or if your left foot's the lead leg and you're touching down with the left hand every time, you can see how much more work there is for me to do this versus there is to do this. My pelvis and shoulders can stay square versus this, I'm having to work way harder through the entire posterior chain to try and get towards the floor. So consider that every time you do a turn, whether the side on turn or whether the 180-degree turn, whichever foot's in front, touch with the opposite hand. That will keep your hips square versus coming to turn and touching on the same side here or on the same side here. So try and change your stance each time. Now, a lot of the time we try and coach people on things like the burpees. You change direction every single time you go up. In a shuttle run, I wouldn't worry so much about it. There's longer distance, you're not really going to get dizzy with it. And a lot of the time, if we actually think about what we said our first point, we prioritize the running gait and rhythm. You're going to find that some of you have to turn on the same side every single time. I would just say in training, try and start each set with a different side. So I know if I start with my left foot forward, by the time I reach 25 feet and turn, my left foot is going to be forward again. But if I start my right foot, the right foot will be forward on the turn. So just something to think about in your training. The last thing, again, is because it's a battle of constant acceleration, that 3-point stance, wherever you are, the shoulders want to be forward. We don't want to be touching, leaning back. So as we touch the floor, it should be a touch and we can drive out of that 3-point stance, whether like that or like this. I'm leaning forward. You can see momentum is going to take me this way. So once I've touched, I can then move straight into my next rep. I hope those tips help for your shuttle runs. As always, practice in isolation first before you go into a competitive style workout with shuttle runs.